Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 3 of A Condition Called Love. We've come a long way in 3 episodes. It's already been a month since Hotaru and Hananoi started dating, and now Christmas is almost upon us and their tryout period is coming to an end. I still think that the whole trial thing has been a bit crazy and somewhat annoying, but at least we do get some resolution to it in this episode, and I found that to be a total relief. The current episode actually picks up right where episode 2 ended, with Hotaru lying still with her eyes closed, and Hananoi over top of her, as she has told him that she wants him to kiss her so she can find out how she feels about him. But of course, as we know, Hananoi was like, "You want what?" and was very confused about the way she was trying to set this up. And before anything can happen, before a kiss can happen, before any kind of confession or disagreement can happen, what actually happens is that Hananoi collapses. Now, Hotaru is a lot smaller than Hananoi, so in the next scene when we see that she has somehow managed to get him into his bed after he's passed the hell out, that is really something. And it is pretty wild that he just conked over like that. I was like, oh my gosh, does he have a medical issue I don't know about or something? Because like, that totally freaked me out. But no, it seems like he's just been overexerting himself again, and we've seen him do that in previous episodes, and it's definitely one of the quirks of his character. And it was really cool to see how calmly Hotaru actually took stock of the situation and actually looked after everything, calling his grandma and all that jazz, and just really being a good friend as well as a good girlfriend in that moment. I think that this consequence was really important because what it actually led to is the fact that for a while, Hotaru and Hananoi weren't actually in constant communication. Given that Hotaru doesn't really know what's going on and how she feels, I think that the idea of him not being around her for a bit, in a sense where they couldn't control it, is actually probably really good because it gives her time to realize how she's feeling when he isn't constantly there, isn't instantly answering, and when she can't just get a hold of him whenever she'd like. Ironically, it's almost like she's getting a trial of what it would be like to be without him. Not by any choice of either of them, but because he's just not feeling well and he needs some time to get better. I thought that was a really clever choice on the part of the author of this, because that way she kind of got the idea of what it would be like without him, so that she could sort of see what the consequences of them not being together would actually be, without him ever having to in any way directly or consciously pressure her, because that would have been really scummy and it would have made me lose respect. But fortunately that did not happen. Since she hasn't been able to really get a hold of him, she ends up going with her family to her little sister's skating thing, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, families do stuff like that. That's normal. And of course, it's a younger sister. She's a little bratty. Something happens to her costume. Different things go down. Normal family stuff. What we didn't know at that point in the episode, but we find out later, is that Christmas Eve is actually Hotaru's birthday. So imagine being 16, 17, somewhere in there, and the special day that is supposed to be yours and yours alone is Christmas Eve, and your sister does like winter skating recitals. That would suck. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are, that would suck. So I mean, I can understand why she was so hyped about going out with Hananoi and getting to spend a night together and everything, and why she would be kind of down about the fact that that doesn't seem like it's going to be happening. But of course, that's not how it turns out, because we are talking about Hananoi here. And he races into the skating rink having figured out where Hotaru is and gets a hold of her, and they actually do get to go out on their date. And their date is super freaking fluffy. Now, before we get to the date itself, I really did like the interaction that happens between the two of them when he actually does find her, because it's her turn to like collapse, not to the extent that he did, but just kind of just feeling relief, because she's been worried about him and hasn't really gotten to talk to him. And then they end up like talking about what happened when she was at his house, and they do make up over that and everything, and then they get to go on the date. And again, the date is super uber OMG fluffy, super pretty. He takes her to this amusement park at night, and because it's holiday season, everything is lit up, and it is just the most beautiful, sparkly, wonderful, just amazing atmosphere. It was so pretty. And they have food, which, I mean, if you know Hotaru, you know she really loves food. And we find out in this episode that the reason she's so into food, it isn't any kind of like weird gluttony or anything. Not that I thought it was, but like, apparently one of her goals is to try as many different foods from as many different places as she can, which is a really cool idea. I mean, I can totally understand wanting to try different cuisines from different cultures. That's a really fun and interesting thing. And the fact that he knew she was interested in that, and he knew it was her birthday, was really cute. And that's why he wanted it to be this day and everything, that he got to spend the time with her and all that. Once they have the food, they go shopping, they buy presents for each other, they're going around, they're doing stuff, and eventually he asks her if she'd like to go into an actual skating rink at the amusement park with him. And at first she's like super scared. Hotaru is not good at skating, so she's actually really nervous, but Hananoi is actually a really good skater, and he convinces her to let him hold her hand while they are going around and skating together, and he is successfully able to help her from having any mishaps or falling down or anything. And as they skate, the lights in the park actually flicker out. Some kind of tech thing happens, and as they're skating in the dark, he starts telling her all the things that he likes so much about her. And I thought that was so sweet, because these weren't stupid generic things. These were things that were really unique to Hotaru, and that really show that Hananoi has paid attention to the things that she actually does in relation to him, even if she isn't aware of them or how special they are herself. He likes the fact that whenever he does something for her, she wants to do something for him in return. He likes the fact that if she makes a mistake or thinks she's messed up somehow, she's the kind of person who wants to apologize for it. He admires her courage and willingness to try new things, likely especially since, in essence, he is a new thing she's trying, and I'm sure he realizes that. He doesn't seem like he's dense. And lastly, of course, is the fact that, as someone who is super passionate about food, whenever she tries a new food, it isn't just about her own satisfaction. If she thinks something is amazing, she wants to share it with him, and I doubt she realizes quite how unique and how potentially intimate that actually is. Is there anything more wonderful than sharing beautiful food with someone you love, whether that's romantically or platonically? I mean, the reason that we have so many holidays and customs is often because they revolve around food, and the food is actually what helps us retain memories from those customs. The two things go hand in hand. So to see that kind of awareness was really cool. Ultimately, they wrap up their date and they go back to her house, and they're standing on the front porch, and he's about to say goodbye to her, which, as far as we know, would hypothetically be for the last time. And she actually notices that when they're at the rink. She's all like, next time we go out, I want to be the one to escort you. And then she's like, oh wait, we haven't actually decided that, in her head. So when they get to the front door and he is about to walk away, she actually tells him, wait, and she tells him that she, if he wants to, would like to continue what they've been doing and see where things are going. She feels like she's getting closer to figuring something out, and what he actually ends up telling her is that she can essentially take as long as she'd like. He does not mind waiting, and he would be more than happy to continue dating her. And I think that that is fantastic, because while this whole timer thing has made for an amazing plot device, as far as having any kind of meaningful, healthy, and connected relationship, it's something that absolutely at some point had to go, because as I said in my last time talking about this show, it was essentially the sort of Damocles of relationships. It was just not something that is going to be doing anyone any favors at all. I mean, I can understand it if two people are like 25 and the woman wants to be married by 30 or something. I can understand a situation like that, but I mean, come on, these guys are teenagers, and they certainly don't need to be trying to limit themselves to a 30-day free trial like they're checking out a new streaming service or something. Anyway, this episode was super duper fluffy. If you have not watched it for whatever reason, run, don't walk. It was amazing, and it's definitely paying off on everything that the series has been building up so far. But that's all I've got to say about this one. What did you guys think? If you did watch it, I'd love to know your thoughts, so drop those in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!